You have started screen share.
All right, so hello and welcome to my presentation of the Battle of Lepanto. So the Battle of Lepanto was an iconic battle. Um, Obviously, it's been written about extensively. Uh, Took place in the Mediterranean Sea in Italy, October 7th of 1571. So this is a battle between the Turks, who had formed the Ottoman Empire at the time, and the Christians, who had formed the Holy League. And this was a battle over the island of Cyprus. It's considered one of the most important battles in history. So before I talk about the Battle of Lepanto, I wanted to first just give some historical context before we talk about the actual battle of who these different parties were and why they were going to into battle in the first place. Because the battle itself was just like a several hour long, big, bloody battle in the middle of the sea. But there was a lot more to it than that. So, uh, the Ottoman Empire stretched across Asia, Europe, Africa, beginning in the late 13th century. The Ottoman Empire is described as multi-religious. However, they were largely Muslims, and their authority was really based on their religion. So there was a man named Osman who's consistently cited as the founder of the empire, and he initiated war with the Byzantine realm since it was bordering their homeland, Bithynia, and seized Persia. Osman lived from 1299 to 1326, but apparently his successors just took off took off running and conquered a lot of territory. They were just very clearly very successful in their military campaigns. They started by conquering much of Anatolia and eventually established themselves as a major threat when they conquered Constantinople and ended the Byzantine Empire in 1453. So in 1570, the Ottomans invaded the island of Cyprus because, well, first of all, why not? I mean, they were just on a roll conquering all this territory, and apparently the island of Cyprus had a lot of mineral wealth and like wines and produce, and it was really pretty. It was just valuable and very intriguing. So they decided that the island of Cyprus, it was theirs essentially. They had a right to the island. Um, so that brings us to the Holy League. Um, and at the time, the island of Cyprus was actually being controlled by Venice. But this is just a map that I found uh, kind of depicting, tried my best to find one that would depict, what was going on geographically at the time. Oops, the Holy League. Okay, so I Googled the Holy League, and it turns out there have been a lot of different Holy Leagues throughout history. Um, Basically, a Holy League is when multiple Christian forces come together and form an alliance and basically unite to prevent um, the enemy. In this case, it's the Ottoman Empire. Ottoman Empire was certainly viewed as an enemy of Christians at the time. In fact, I found a dissertation that describes the Ottoman Empire as the infidel. Goes back and forth between describing them as the infidel and Turks. So, but this league in particular, the Holy League of 1570, was an alliance between Rome, Venice, Spain, and Pope Pius V. So Pope Pius V was, from the readings that I did, really the main driver. I mean, it was Venice, obviously, that reached out for help to other other Christian European countries when they were threatened by the Ottoman Empire. And their Ottoman Empire was like basically undefeated. They needed help, but they knew that they could not defeat the Ottoman Empire own. So they reached out for help, but it was really, they reached out to Pope Pius V, and he was really their main advocate. Um, so Pope Pius V believed that a crusade of Christian princes could successfully defeat the Ottomans. So it really is very possible that this Holy League in particular never would have come together if it weren't for the Ottomans invading the island of Cyprus in 15.
You have started screen share.
Okay. Don't know what happened, but I'm just going to pick up where I left off. So, uh, so this is the event, the Ottoman Empire invading the island of Cyprus is really the event that catalyzed the formation of the Holy League. Because Venice wanted to keep their island. They knew they couldn't defeat the Ottoman Empire on their own, reached out for help. Okay. So an alliance formed. The Holy League was publicly announced that year on May 27th of 1571. So it actually took a really long time. I say long time, but several months at least for all of these, for them to solidify all the negotiations between the different countries. John Donne, the brother of King Philip II, was appointed to lead the Spanish fleet against the Ottomans. So it came to be that on October 7th, 1571, the Battle of Lepanto ensued between the Holy League and the Ottoman Empire over the valuable and fruitful island of Cyprus. So the Battle of Lepanto itself. Um, yeah, battle in the middle of the sea. The soldiers in both parties recognized these were kind of unfavorable battle circumstances, right? I mean, saw each other in the middle of the sea, but the commanders, John Donne and Ali Pasha, the Ottoman Empire, order their soldiers just to continue and fight on. So the battle lasted for several hours. The Ottomans were essentially defeated when Ali Pasha was defeated and beheaded. Apparently, his head was like held up on a sword, and um, yeah, the Holy League claimed their victory basically and won the battle. Obviously, this instilled a lot of confidence in the Holy League because the Ottomans were pretty much considered invincible up until that point. Turns out there were a lot of, powers that be involved and countries involved in the Holy League. So there was a lot of deliberation as to where they should kind of concentrate their efforts next. And the Holy League really did start disintegrating. This also doesn't mean by any means that the Ottoman Empire was defeated in 1571. In fact, far from it, the Ottoman Empire actually survived until the early early 20th century. So that's all that I have for the Battle of Lepanto.